Static in the wires. Got a question like the fire. Turn it up, let it ring. From the fringe, let it sing. Yeah. Deep cut topics that they said off limits. Every crack in the map, every edge, every image. Pull the thread, watch the whole thing twist. Every can't talk that goes on the list. Black coffee, late night, eyes on the clues. You could keep your script, we rewrite the news. From the shadows to the main feed, shine that beam. What you buried in the dark, we drag on screen. Whoa! From the fringe where the lost ones be. Where the strange turn sharp. Where the quiet hearts beat. Turn it loud, let the doubt unhinge. If you wanna know more, come from the fringe. From the fringe.
Hi,
Hey,
this is episode number 6,
yeah.
I believe. We've covered a lot in the first 6 episodes. Some heart-wrenching stuff, some fun stuff. I think today's going to be a little bit different. Going to be a focus on some charitable initiatives, I think, with a really, really, really awesome guest. The current president and CEO of New York City Basketball Hall of Fame, or SUNY commissioner for D3 athletics in the New York metropolitan area. And currently will be joining us from Serbia, which is kind of cool. So our first
we went international.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So we still have snow on the ground.
We do not. It
I'm
is
over it.
warm.
I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Soon.
Yeah. So
It's obviously our record days and our release days are different. And with my trip coming up, we're getting some recordings all done during the week. So today, actually, ladies and gentlemen, Pebble Beach started today. So I'm really interested to see how that event goes because I saw a video of Scotty Scheffler hitting a driver on a 167-yard par 3, and he was short.
yeah, there's some weather out there.
Yeah. I am excited to see what happens. I hope during the tournament they hit driver on a par 3.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in my Tuesday night league last year, my playing partner, Mike, on my Saturday group, his father-in-law had a hole-in-one on a par 3 with a driver.
Nice.
I think he hit it 120 yards, and I think it rolled 20 yards into the hole. Whatever works.
Hey, but no, he doesn't have to say that part. He can say,
No.
I have a hole-in-one.
He has a hole-in-one.
That's
Something
right.
I do not have.
Me either. I've got a lot of
Close.
really close, but no cigar.
No ace for me in the golf space.
No. Same.
Also, today was our friend Andy's 8th treatment
Yeah.
from our last episode, so we're thinking of her today and sending strength and love and prayers to her.
I'm going to send her a quick text right now.
So we hope she continues to take on that with everything she has as she's done so far. So we're proud of her for what she's been able to do, and continue to send good thoughts and all that kind of fun stuff. So, and once my little text buddy here is done, we'll introduce everybody to our friend Zach Ivkovic.
Let's do it.
All right, go
I'll
for
bring
it.
it.
By the way, shout out to Jet Golf for this polo. Phenomenal. If you buy on Whatnot, please look up Jet Golf, and I'm very, 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 very pleased with this polo.
Hey, the man, the myth, the legend.
I call Jimmy El Presidente, but I really should be calling you that because you are the president of the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame, which sounds really, really, really awesome.
It is. I don't do anything that's not awesome. So I appreciate the introduction. I at least I try. Let's put it that way. Better stated, I try. And cheers to Andy, and keep up the fight.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. So how's the weather over there in Serbia? Is it
It's
comfortable or cold?
very similar to New York. The 4 seasons, it's really, really extremely similar throughout the year. So I'm very accustomed to it, but so many good places in the region to go to. So I really try to take advantage of everything that it has to offer. I mean, I'm an hour flight to the best beaches in the world, and I'm an hour flight to the best skiing in the world. So the Winter Olympics going on in Milan and Cortina. So I'm really enjoying this part of the world. It's priceless.
That's
Well,
awesome.
in the flights, if I want to fly from Augusta to Atlanta, it's like $400. If you want to fly to that beach or to go skiing in a matter of 24 hours, it might cost you $40.
And better yet, I could drive. I could get in the car. It's sort of
True.
like me driving, from Jacksonville to Miami. It's sort of like, if you're going for like 4 or 5 days, it's really not a big deal. You're gonna go rather get in the car and hit the roads. Geographically, is like Texas is more than half of Europe. Europe is a lot smaller than people think it is, and certainly flight times is, I get to England in 2.5 hours, and that's like, all the way up north. Europeans think that it's so far away, but US is just so much bigger. People don't know how big it is really until you start getting around.
Well, our buddy Ian, when he was on, what did he say, Lou? He said, when I got to America, I realized everything was bigger.
The cars, the roads, and
The
the arses.
cars, the portions, the roads, and the asses. And I was like, what? It definitely threw us off. So we had a laugh at that. But I've
think he
been
was
to Europe
calling
a
us.
couple of times. He's not wrong.
Gas prices are a lot smaller though.
Yes, they are. Yeah, he left that out.
Holy, it's brutal here.
Yeah. Especially if you see and you don't know the conversions and you see it, and I was in Paris and I was like, did you see that? It was like $24 but it was, whatever the currency is. And my wife's like, it's not $24. I was like, oh, okay.
It's like 150, 160, then you realize it's per liter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
150, 160 is, times 3.0, almost 4. So you're basically paying $6 plus for a
It's like,
gasoline
it's like living
for
in
a
LA.
gallon of gasoline.
Yeah. It's like living in LA.
Yeah, and $6 is the cheaper price. It's usually even more so. If you go to Italy, it's even a lot worse.
Well, yeah. And a lot of the cars there need premium gas or they're diesel. So
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So in your role, obviously, with the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame, who are some of the coolest names that you've had the pleasure of inducting?
We've had two lives, sort of. We had the world, from 1990 until 2018, and then we've had, unfortunately, during COVID, all the folks that spearheaded the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame had all passed except for one member of the original crew, which is Peter Vesey, who we are honoring this year at the gala. And, last year we restarted with a whole new group of people who wanted to preserve the legacy of New York City basketball and what it means to the city. So, we're starting fresh. It's our 30th inauguration, 30th class, I should say. But we've had a void there for quite a bit. So everyone that's involved right now was not involved before. So therefore, we are trying to come up with some fresh ideas and trying to make sure that while on one hand we honor the legacy of all the folks that were honored before we joined, to those that are currently. So what we've done is last year we had the event at Barclays Center. Post COVID, there was still a lot of trials and tribulations still about sit down dinners, and there's like a whole lot of apprehension, especially like an older crowd that tends to come that we like to honor. And this year we're gonna be full blown gala dinner at the Hilton Midtown, and we're going all out for the first time in a long time. So I can't speak to a lot. I've attended a lot of those dinners as a guest when I was a commissioner of the CUNY Athletic Conference in New York, but now it's shoes on the other foot. Now I'm trying to spearhead it with a great group that I'm working with to make it new. So we have a great class spearheaded by Stefan Marbury and Sue Bird. So those are our headliners, but we have some amazing, amazing, folks that, we try to really dig down to the grassroots and honor the street ball legends, honor the high school coaches, the youth coaches, all those people that selflessly contribute to the game for 40, 50, 60 years at times. And a lot of times those people are like, oh yeah, you did your part. Well, we want to make sure that we remember them and we honor them. So that's really the part that we play. And as much as we love Stefan and Sue, we love all of them. We're honoring NYU women's basketball, back to back national champions. This year, they're undefeated still. They've won 82 games in a row without a loss. So they won back to back national champions without losing a single game. And now they're the number one team in the country and still undefeated in their third straight season. So New York Liberty, who won the NBA title a year ago. So we have like a star-studded class, and we're excited for it.
That's amazing. It's funny. I was just thinking in New York City basketball, I think of Rucker Park with the Maple Leaf logo. Like it's world famous, it's internationally famous. So that's really, really cool that you do that. There's such a history there too, that it's nice that it gets that kind of recognition.
So like and
Yeah,
one basketball. So you guys recognize those because that started in New York, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah. We recognize, it's funny that there was a lot of apprehension from the previous group about, people that were not New York raised and bred, so they didn't go to high school or college in New York. So there was a lot of mixed feelings that we've had to decipher, and we're still deciphering, because you got greats like Patrick Ewing, you got greats like Carmelo Anthony, who made their a huge mark, obviously, in New York City basketball circles, but they weren't born in New York. They weren't raised in New York. They didn't go to high school or college in New York. So therefore, how do you, bring him into the Basketball Hall of Fame? And a lot of the old timers didn't want any part of it. So we're trying to sort of, find the middle ground to say, hey, who made a massive impact in New York City basketball and who's still giving back to New York City basketball. So like Stephon Marbury, he is a guy from New York all the way through, but he spent the last 13 years in living in China. But the guy continues to give back in every way possible, even though he's a world away. So we're really trying to merge the two, and it's a daily discussion and a difference of opinion. As you guys know, social media rules the world, and everyone has an opinion on the subject.
Well, it's funny you can get into the NBA Hall of Fame, but Patrick Ewing can't get into the New York Hall of Fame, and he spent his entire career representing the city or the state of New York. So I see both sides of the coin, but I think at first impression it's like, yeah, they're not from New York. They're not New Yorkers. Patrick Ewing's a New Yorker. Like he spent his entire career in New York.
Yep.
Then coaching obviously, but that's different.
Yep.
I'm sure he still has a lot of connections to New York, the state of New York, and the basketball and all of that.
Well, for guys
I'm
like us,
sure he does. He's probably thinking differently and saying, "Why am I not in the Hall of Fame? I've got a lot of connections. I've played there my whole career. What's wrong with you guys?"
Yeah, what's happening here?
yeah, I mean, growing up, kid of the '80s, Patrick Ewing was the face of the Knicks, and it was, that
He and John
year they,
Stark.
yeah, John Starks and Allen Houston and all those guys, and you think, that they ran into David Robinson and I can't think of his last name,
Tim Duncan.
Duncan.
Tim Duncan, otherwise, they're champs hands down, without even
Yeah, or they ran into Michael
sweat.
Jordan.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Yeah.
and the Rockets with
Yeah,
Hakeem,
just like
so
everybody else did.
yeah, a totally different game too, then, right, than it is now. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No comment.
So Zach, you were born in Serbia?
Yeah, I was born here. I went to the States as an 11-year-old without knowing a word of English. I've had family there. We moved. I had my two uncles and an aunt that were living in New York. So, our process was kind of seamless coming to the States, except, you're in a whole new world, and you had to adapt quickly to the language, to the school, to friends. Luckily, I always found sports to be the common ground. The getting acclimated to a new environment was not, all too difficult when you find friends with, similar interests. And sport is always the missing link, really. No matter, I talk about and spending all my time working at the CUNY system and elsewhere. You kind of say when you join a team,
Probably got a call.
your whole team as your friends. Everyone's your friend, and you just got there. As a regular student, it takes you months to go to your class, to meet people, to get to know people. This is a different world where, you have coaches and people around your team that have a vested interest in you succeeding. That's kind of how I succeeded. How I succeeded as a youth in playing sports, how I succeeded, going to high school and college. I acclimated very quickly. I mean, I went to college after, 6 years of being in the States. And, it's three sets of friends that you meet just from doing something that you love. So, and then, I was a New Yorker for 45 years. And after retiring from the CUNY system, I wanted to do a whole lot of other stuff that I've always enjoyed. And that included living in Europe and traveling and enjoying it with my families. And that's what we're doing now. So I kind of come full circle, but everything that I do work wise is still tied in as if I'm living in a first state that doesn't exist. It's just I'm on the other side of the pond with a different time zone, but I've acclimated quite quickly and really enjoying both the continuation of my work here as well as enjoying the work-life balance.
Well, we talked about Europe being small, so it's a great place to do that because you have really anything you want at your fingertips. You can go anywhere. You can go see anything. I mentioned earlier my sister's living in Germany, and they jump on a train or they jump in the car, and they're in Italy or they're in France or they're in Amsterdam. So it's really a nice place to settle down, but to be able to still travel and experience different cultures and just enjoy life, enjoy living.
Yeah, it's sort of I equate it to if you take any part of the US, if you let's just say you take the Northeast, so I'm more affiliated with that, or the Southeast, doesn't matter. If you take everything that you have great in the United States and you put it in that one corner of the country, that's kind of Europe. You have like so much to do and so many things going on, but you have it in one part where you don't have to travel great deals to get there. That's kind of the way I equate it. It's far more enjoyable in that sense. I'd say the northeast of US is that way, but if I get in a car here and I drive in six different directions, I go into six different countries with six different languages, six different cultures. When you're like, what the? I'm used to it, I know it, but people that come there for the first time, they go, what language are we speaking now? What money are we using here? So it's funny.
We find that when we leave, like I'm in South Jersey now, when you get to a certain point in North Jersey, you kind of know like there's accents, there's different language. And then when you get across the bridge to Philly and eastern or western Pennsylvania, it's yeah, it changes a little bit too, but yeah, it's not like that.
You think you're in a different country just by going to northern Jersey, huh?
Originally from Staten Island, so being down here, I thought I was in a different country because there's trees and dirt roads and
Well, yeah, we're
no
surrounded
people.
by concrete.
Yeah, I wasn't surrounded by concrete anymore. So I think we've been down here 37 years. I think my mom's still in culture shock. So, but when we go back and visit, she's like, "Get me out of here! I don't want to be here. It's too crowded."
Yeah, well, Staten Island's still very, very good. I mean, compared to the rest of New York in terms of crowdiness, and you almost feel like you're in the suburbs already. So I enjoy that always about Staten Island, and there's a sense of community there for sure.
Definitely, it's the black sheep of the boroughs, right? So you're heading back to the States shortly, right? You said you're going to Miami, enjoy some nice
Yeah,
weather,
yeah,
play some golf, right?
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna take my family living there. My brother and my dad are down in the Miami area. And I'm gonna go enjoy that a little bit, but I'm really going to New York afterwards to do the Hall of Fame dinner, and then bounce back and meet with some friends and play some golf in the Orlando area and down in Miami if I get a chance. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's as everybody does, getting out of the winter and go. If you could hit a few golf balls in February, it feels good. It feels good.
Does.
You don't have to wait till late April and May.
Well, that's why I have this, because I can't hit golf balls in February.
Yeah, we got my guy
My friends always
who
got on me for that.
do what?
My friends always got on me for that. They're like, "Well, you got to go to the range. You got to go and hit a few balls here and there." I mean, I always enjoyed. I said, I need my three friends. I need to get out on the course. So let's just play. Because if I have to go hit balls against the wall for 2 hours, or I know you get the itch, you want to play, but man, I'd say like let's just go. Let's just go somewhere where we can play. I'd rather play like that for 3 days straight than hit golf balls against the wall for a month. So
If I can get a
I
tee in the
can't do
ground,
it.
I'll play.
Well, we
Sorry.
talked about technology earlier and how we were all grateful that we grew up in a time it wasn't around, but I can play Lou in my backyard later tonight because of technology, because of GS Pro. You and those three friends, if they have it too, you guys can play each other anywhere in the world. So that's what's cool about.
He'd rather go to Miami and do it, and I don't blame him.
I am with him on that. But, if I need to, hit balls out back, it's not just, hitting balls against the wall, because I don't want to do that either.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
Yeah, correct.
It's not like, I mean, listen, we all want to stay sharp. We all want to enjoy. And that's the second best thing. You're going to play against each other, through technology. That's awesome. But, nothing compensates for, your four friends and playing. There is no 19th hole on the video screen.
That's true.
There is no camaraderie. There's so many things that are missing. So I tend to stick
It's the
to.
experience of being there with the boys that you can't put a number, you can't put anything on it. It's invaluable. And sorry, wives everywhere, unless you play golf with other women to get that same exact experience, you don't get it. That's why they're like, why? Why do you want to do this for hours? And you come home so angry.
Yeah.
And I tell them, now we're expanding our horizons. Now, you guys make the plans where we're going to play in the U.S. I'll make the plans where we go play in Europe, and you're just expanding your horizons, and you get to see new places where you could golf. And we did that 2 years ago. We went to played in Spain, and I said, there's a lot of great places to come play here as well. So we've kind of done a few around the U.S., but now it's time. I said, come expand, come over here. Go to
Yeah.
Portugal, go to a lot of good places to play golf.
Well, and it's different. I played golf in London. It was my first international golf experience, and it's completely different. The ground is hard. No, in the States, a lot of the times you hit the ball short, it either plugs or it goes back because of how soft the ground is. You hit the ball short, and like we played in London, it bounced up. I was like, I only want to play golf in London. Like, this has just saved me 10 strokes. But yeah,
That's
it's
the
a
that's the
different
beauty
experience
about
for
golf,
sure.
right? That's the beauty about golf. It's not just every country or every golf course. It's every darn hole. It's every one is different.
Yep.
And people that don't play golf never get that. They're like, well, in every other sport, you get acclimated to the court. You know the distance to the basket. You know everything. No matter where you go and you step on the court, there's a familiarity to it. Golf, no such thing.
Yeah, you can play the same hole all day long and have different shots all day long.
Yep. And you could be really like it's sometimes it's the fun thing and the frustrating thing where you could hit really good shots. Like when you say, "Hey, listen, I'm not, an amateur player, but you hit good amateur shots, you hit nice golf shots, and you could still be bogeying, double bogeying every hole. It doesn't mean that you're playing poorly. It's just that every course and every hole needs acclimating to. And if you're playing for the first time, chances are you're not gonna, be parring every hole.
I remember the first time I played in Florida. I walked out on the fairway in the rough, and I'm looking around. I'm like, this isn't grass. because up north we have blades of grass. We have actual, and it's a different, it's grass. So I guess is Bermuda grass or a weed? I guess it's a
Yeah,
grass, right? But
it's
the way it grows and it catches the club, it's a totally, like, it's a different game that you have to adapt to down there because of the conditions. And it's very humbling.
that's how I
You know,
felt when I
sure.
played in PA the first time. It like the grass was so different in the rough. Like it took a minute to realize, all right, I need to club up just to get through the ball because you couldn't finesse it, you know. So yeah, I totally understand what you went through there.
I love that challenge, right? So that's what makes it, can I adapt? Can I overcome? Which is really just the story of life, right? Can we adapt and overcome and, you know,
Rory
Well,
just
achieve
the
that
messaged
best
me,
goal?
is
Twitter.
the best is if it's nobody's home course, everyone has to adapt and everyone has to overcome, and everyone's in the same boat, so to speak. So, it's sort of your the best thing to do is I always like to think that I laugh at it most of the time. I laugh at the challenges and the missed shots, and you make fun of each other, and it's a cool thing. As long as you don't take the game too seriously, you'll enjoy it no matter how.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
We say it all the time. You're playing against yourself. You're challenging yourself, as well as the people you're playing with. So it's that double-edged sword. But, it's for me now in life, it's the great equalizer. It brings people together. Um, of all walks of life, all different backgrounds. Um, and anybody can play, and my kids have taken a liking to it, so a lot of times we'll come out here and I won't even get to hit a ball because, they're fighting over the cage. So this is very rewarding. And I like when people that I know, oh, golf, it's boring, it's boring, it's boring. And say, just give it a shot. It's not like watching it on TV. Not everybody can watch golf on TV. I get it. And then when they finally do take up the game, they're like, wow, this is great. I never thought it would be fun. I thought it would just be boring. That's pretty rewarding too, because you're able to see them, experience something new.
Well, I enjoy the people that have that, oh, it's so boring. It's this, it's that. It's just sitting there on the ground. How could it be so hard? Yeah, I was an athlete. Go ahead. Let's go try it. Let's go try real quick. Let me watch you shoot 120 real quick. So, because you could be a centimeter off and have a different result every single time. It'll humble you real quick. Nobody picks up a golf club and is a natural.
No,
Nope.
No.
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 Well, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he wasn't a natural though right when he started,
When they started, but
Yep.
boy, they set the
Yeah,
bar
but he
really high.
got real good real quick.
Yep. And now we're watching Scotty, this run he's on, which I love the comparisons, Scotty, where he is in his career and as insanely good and successful as he's been compared to where Tiger was at that point in his career. And it's just amazing that you're never like the number one, the weeks at number one. He's never going to get there. You're never going to match that level.
It was like 20 years. He has to play another 20 years
Yeah,
at number one.
something ridiculous to catch that.
But it's funny. It's interesting that he is, and in my recollection, you guys probably correct me, but in my recollection, he's the first player since Tiger that I kind of equate that somebody is heading in that direction where they're that dominant for a stretch of time, where he's won, whole tons in the last 2 or 3 years alone is like, oh my God. Is it, I mean, just I think that comparison is definitely too soon, as you guys are saying. But just for him to be heading in that direction and to kind of be breathing that air that high, it feels pretty cool to have somebody like that because for a long time there, it was just a lot of equality where, this guy wins, that guy wins. It was just going back and forth. Some new kid comes. Now you have Scotty is pretty darn consistent where it's quite impressive.
And if you remember, before he went on this run, he was doing well, but he couldn't putt. And I say that, obviously I can't putt, but he couldn't putt. And then he switched to the spider, from the blade. I think he was using a Scotty Cameron blade, and I think he went over to the TaylorMade spider, and then it was lights out. And then it was like a switch flip, and it was, you know, And I think, he had a couple tournaments where he had a chance to win and, he fell behind by a stroke or something like that. And he just barely missed winning, but it's really impressive. And how can you not like the guy? He's just quiet, humble, does his thing. He's a father now. He's a great family man. Like, how can you not root for him?
Well, and he also, it's like the tournaments he doesn't win, it's like he takes a day off and then it's like, oh, here he comes up the leaderboard. And you're like, well, what would have happened if, cause they say you can't lose it on the first day. Like the waste management, he lost on the first day because he was, I think, over par.
Yeah.
But, it's unreal to see because I guess the story is too, like he was always like really good, but he was very opinionated on the course. Like he would get mad at himself and he would curse and throw clubs and stuff. And we don't ever see that really out of him anymore.
Ted Scott kind of got that out
Yeah.
of
And
him.
someone said to Ted Scott, will you work with him? And he was like, no. And they were like, why? And he said, well, because, he does this and does that. And, I'm not going to be embarrassed out there. And if that's the way he is, I just don't want to have anything to do with it, you know? And they said, play with him one time. Tell me what you think. And so he was on his bag and he said, look, I'll stay on, but you have to stop this. Let's together figure out how to get your emotions under control and you'll play better golf anyway. And he did. And now the guy's a buzzsaw ripping through the entire PGA tour. So, it just goes to show you all you need is one person in your corner, like to really kind of have that hard conversation with you sometimes. Like, hey, let's stop acting like that. Let's relax.
Yeah, I that's what rubs me the wrong way with Tyrrell Hatton because it was like every shot
He's so
ticked
good
off.
though.
He's a great player, but it's hard to watch. And when you have the kids and you're trying to get them to buy in and, then they think it's okay, and I don't, like when I was playing baseball and stuff growing up, my grandfather would always say, if you're going to watch anybody, watch, Ozzie Smith, who I was lucky enough to meet this past summer, watch Ozzie Smith, watch this guy, watch that guy. And then, he would steer you away from don't do what he does, don't watch the ball, run. So it's, there's that part of it too. And then now that, I'm dad and I can hear my grandfather, and I'm just trying to pass that on to the kids. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. There's another shot. You're not a professional yet. And I've tried to do that to my own game. I hit a bad shot. There's no reason to slam the club,
He fails miserably at that part.
But if you're Johnny come lately and you just started watching Scotty in the last couple of years, you would never even imagine that he had such a problem because
Yeah.
he's like the coolest cat in the course there is.
I don't even remember hearing about him.
Mm-mm. No,
Like,
it came out of nowhere.
yeah. And I
Really
mean,
did.
I guess he'd been on the tour for a couple of years. Like, I guess, I don't know. Just, now, he is the light. Like he's the entire tour.
Well, don't forget too, when he was coming out and coming up, everybody was focused on, Justin Thomas. He was the next boy wonder. And what's his name? He's with Under Armour. I could picture Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth.
Everybody was kind of fixated on them, and then on the Euro side, it was John Rahm and,
Cam
so
Smith.
he kind of got overlooked, but winning puts you in the limelight,
Yeah.
So let's see if he can complete the Grand Slam because he's the next, he's him, Brooks, there's a couple guys that can obviously do that. So let's see if that can happen. But this isn't the Scotty show. This is the Zach show. So let's talk more. Zach, I know you have some charitable causes that are very near and dear to you that, and you had mentioned, so often in life, I believe you said, we do so much good, but we focus on the 10% that doesn't go right. But we can throw an awesome gala, and instead of sitting back and saying, "Wow, we changed lives," we're focused on we had the wrong napkins, or something happened. If you want to speak to the charities that you support, maybe the tournament that you're going to host, and who that benefits.
Yeah, no, listen, I know I did that, running, the CUNY championships in various sports, and it would be inevitable that the day after you would meet with the crew, and what would you be discussing is what went wrong, and it's sort of like so, I'd say, I keep plugging along. I always try to keep plug along and do the best that I can. And for CUNY to me was a labor of love. You have kids that, didn't have great means, but they were passionate about the sports. And sort of, so I brought that. I was one of those student athletes in the CUNY system. I went to Hunter College in New York City, and then, wanted to give back. And sort of like, so when I finished, I wanted to continue working. So I'm doing work with CBS, Paramount. We cover soccer from Europe at the Champions League and Serie A. And then I'm doing the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. It's keeping me connected to the New York City roots and all the people that I know there. And basketball is such a passionate sport in the city that people love. And then, I said, I need to, I'm living here. I need to do something. I want to do something where I'm making a difference in a community to the people that need the help and how I can support them. So I used to run fundraising golf outings for the CUNY system. We did them at Bethpage, on Bethpage Red Course for 5 years, and I love that. I love being able to do more for the student athletes of the CUNY system by doing something, going above and beyond, and getting the corporate world behind it to help and support us. So when I came here, I said, okay, I found a charity that I love. They do a lot of work for families that have. You hear so much about low birth rates and where that's headed all around the world. Well, they're supporting families that are struggling when they have multiple kids, or whether it be through their schooling or housing situation. So that's the kind of charity that I'm helping. So I said, how can I help them? I said, okay, let me run a golf outing for them, a charity golf outing. I wanted to do something. There's a large Serbian diaspora in the United States. A lot of them focused down in Florida and then the Miami area. So I said, you know what? My brother's down there. Every time I go down there and play golf, I love it. So I wanted to combine the two loves. I said, let me do a charity golf outing. We're doing one at Trump Doral. We're finalizing the date. It'll be early November, probably November 2nd right now at Trump Doral, and then a dinner in downtown Brickell area, which is like 20 minutes away from Trump Doral. And it's the first one. It's going to be anything that we do, anything that we raise is going to be awesome. But I know I'm going to, sort of pool all my friends and try to get everyone that I can to come down and play and contribute and support the cause. But for me, it was sort of like, let me find a way to give back and to do something fun that I enjoy, and do something that I'm feel like I'm good at, and to kind of we forget sometimes, even in our golf is such a privileged sport where there are not many people around the world. If you look at statistically, people don't play a lot of golf because it's an expensive sport. You need it for the equipment, you need it for the golf course, you need it for the green fees, for everything there, for the travel to get there. But it also is a way to, figure out a way where you could use golf to support people that, don't have the means. So I kind of merge those two and try to make the best of it.
I love that. We have a family scholarship foundation in memory of my cousin who passed away. And we do an outing for that reason. It's something fun. It brings people together. A lot of former college athletes, and you're raising money for a good cause, and it's for kids to go to school and without having to maybe worry about having that little bit of money or so it's very rewarding from that side of it. Um, and then like we said, those building those relationships. John and I are friends because of golf. I could think of a lot of people I'm friendly with because of golf. Our mutual friend, Mr. Vogt, we know because of golf. So, yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's a great equalizer now in life, and we talked about it a little bit with Andy. So many Olympic athletes, former professional athletes, when their time on the field or the court or the gridiron's over, they still want to be competitive, and you can do that. You can do that on the golf course. And now the pro-ams are getting so much attention. And like
Yep.
the Travis Kelce's and the Steph Curry's and who are pretty decent players are out there, and then they do the match, which is televised. It's in prime time now. People are watching it. So, and then with the COVID shutdown, I think it just gave people something to do. So it's really I think golf and bass fishing grew immensely over the last few years because those were things you could do during COVID, and I think they're both great sports. So
Yeah, well, the really cool is it's the ACC, the celebrity tournament, where you know they all get out there, they play. I think it's 2 days, 2 or 3 day tournament, and some of these guys can really play. And
Marty Fish, good player.
yep, and they're playing out in Lake Tahoe, beautiful course right there on the water, and they have fun, and they're throwing footballs, shooting basketballs, it's yeah, that'd be an amazing tournament to go to, I think. But it's just as we get older, the athlete in us wants to still compete. And
Yeah.
the thing is in golf, if you play football, basketball, baseball, when soccer, you want to compete, you go harder. In
Yeah.
golf, if you go harder, you mess up. So,
Reel it in.
because it has to be golf's a rhythm. It's a dance. It's about your rhythm, and you can definitely tell when it's off. So,
That's
it's
that's usually the biggest struggle for people that make that transition to playing golf. You think of, baseball and hockey players are real good golfers because they're already used to the swing and they have some similar movements. But everyone else, to your point, man, you think like you gotta hit it harder to make it go long. It's sort of like, your whole life you played other sport. And then for a guy that doesn't play, tons, I play enough, but it's not like constant. You start playing again, then you like you got to calm yourself down before you even take that first swing. You got to calm yourself down because to your point, you're only gonna get in trouble if you swing harder. So it takes an adjustment for sure. It takes a mental adjustment, not and then the physical.
100%. Golf
Yeah.
is, they say like golf is 90% air, 10% trees. A golf is right between these trees, like because it is. If you can't clear your mind, you're in for a long day.
Yeah, I think if you can hit the ball, right, if you can make contact, you can play. And it wasn't until I started playing with my partner that I play with on Saturdays where I learned course management, which is a totally different ballgame. What were you thinking there? Uh, the hole goes this way. Why are you aiming over there? What's your thought process? You really got to develop course management, and then you have to look at these greens, and you have to try to understand, which way, the ball's going to go. You can't just blindly hit the ball. I mean, if you're out by yourself, a lot of times when it's hot in the summer, you can get out and there's not a lot of people out. You can play 3, 4 balls on a hole. You can kind of just whack a couple up there and see what's going on. But, you got to try to understand what you're doing and be vested in what you're doing. I'm not a big, like in a scramble, I'll have a couple cocktails with the boys, but when I'm playing, like I want to play. I want to be in that right frame of mind so I can really kind of concentrate. And, I'm not very good, but I want to give it my best. I don't want to cheat myself.
Yeah.
So I've worked the last couple of years on that course management, trying to really visualize shots and think about what the hole's doing, from the tee box, to the cup.
Speaking of that, I was going to ask you. You know, you, sometimes watching golf on TV messes you up because you see these guys make so many great shots effortlessly from difficult situations. And if you hit a tee shot and it goes left or right into the woods or just off the fairway, and you think like, oh yeah, you know what, that tree, they're far enough apart. I could in between, I'll get it out there. And you're thinking like, I've seen that, the pros make it all the time for them. They don't miss. I mean, it's like, 97 out of 100, they get it right through and they're near the green or on the green. So, sometimes thinking that you're watching that, and especially if you're watching them play a course that you played at or you're playing at afterwards, and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that 100 times. I see these guys make it. I could do that too. And you almost feel like, John, you were mentioning playing in North Carolina, some of these great courses, and you watch that on TV, and you're like, how often am I gonna play here? So if I find myself in that position, I might as well try and go for it. You don't think about course management and say, well, I'm gonna just chip it out in the fairway, then I'm gonna get a shot onto the green. I'm really gonna go for it because I've never played here. I don't know if I'll play here again. I might as well go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The the
Guilty.
the sad part is, I call that the hero shot. The sad part is when you make the hero shot, you end up in a bunker, short sighting yourself. You do that at Tobacco Road, and you're 30 feet under the green, and you got to hit the sand shot of your life. Well, good luck to you, because and then you're like, I should have just bumped it out sideways and then went up. I'd be putting for par right now.
But if you make it, your buddies are gonna be talking about it for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
No, that's
And for the
true.
my friends, the problem is they're talking about it because they're like, yeah, you remember when you tried to do that? Idiot.
Is there anything you miss about the U.S. when you're in Serbia? Any restaurants in the city? Anything you're
GMOs.
really looking forward to?
No, 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 don't mention restaurants. Don't mention restaurants, Lou. The food here is obscenely good. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, no. The one thing I absolutely don't miss is the food.
Okay.
The food out here is just ridiculous. I mean, I could just, I used to come here in the summertime and I would just like get tomato and eat raw tomatoes and tomato salad. They taste like real tomatoes. They're so good. I could just eat them for the whole time that I'm here. The food is just off the charts. I mean, honestly, I miss friends mostly, but then, like you guys talked about, the communication and WhatsApp calls and Zoom calls, and I'm communicating with folks in the States similarly to the way we did it during COVID. It's sort of like you're in touch with everybody, but you're not seeing them as often. That's the way I'm feeling right now. But through some of the work that I'm doing, I mean, I think I'll be in the States probably like 3 times this year. So, I'm gonna make my frequent trips from work and visiting family. So I don't look at it as I'm gonna miss it because I don't plan on not coming on a regular basis. So from that perspective, I'm not. But, honestly, like all the sports that I want to watch, I could watch from here. The pop culture, the music, the movies, everything is sort of readily available. I've got my Netflix. I watch what I want to, it's sort of like the world is flat in that sense. You really are able to enjoy most of it. But sort of what we talked about with virtual golf, you can't replace the friends that are with you and enjoying time with them. So when I come to the States, I want to make up for that first. That's like the number one thing on my agenda is to see my friends, get together with them, hang out, have a few laughs, invite them to come visit me the way I visit them. So that way I have a sense that, we're still close and still stay in touch. And if we could play a few rounds even better, like we're gonna do down in Florida. So that's I probably think the biggest thing for me is to hang out with them. But I'm pretty much in touch with them the way I was in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I totally get that, John. We can attest to that. John and I talk daily. We do we're on uh, FaceTime calls and all that stuff. But we saw each other in Philly a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, I felt like I haven't seen you in forever because just being in the same room with somebody and the conversations just tend to be a little different. Yeah, I totally get that. And you don't really appreciate it till you get into that moment. You're like, man, I miss having that rapport. And even though we're still here, we're still talking, we're still seeing each other. It's just not the same. And then if you get a couple rounds of golf in, it's even better. Because who doesn't want to do that?
No doubt, no doubt. It's really yeah, I call it a couple of days. Like you're playing for 4 or 5 hours. Got, lunch in between the ninth and the 10th hole. You got dinner plans afterwards where, loser buys. It's all good. You're spending a day with people people that don't play golf. I always tell them, if I want to hang out with you two, and you're important, whether it be in my career or in my life or as my friends, if I try to get you, hey, you guys free tomorrow for lunch? They're like, nah, you're free this week. When are you free this week? It would be lucky if we get a time where we could get together for 2 hours in a given week. But golf is the equalizer. It's like no matter who you want to get together, you get together with folks and you purposely plan because you need that afternoon or that morning, and it usually means that you hang out afterwards. It really gives you a lot more quality time that you normally don't get these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Zach, if you send us all the information for the charities you're supporting, I like to, at the end of the podcast, I like to put together a couple different, screenshots of the different charities that people like to support or they can contribute. If anybody feels that they want to contribute, everybody loves a golf tournament. So when you have that information, definitely send it to us and we'll share it out. If we're able to make it, I think we'd like to come down and meet in person and obviously support the cause. Who doesn't want to go to Miami in November, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, Trump Doral in November. I mean, it's only going to be like 92 instead of like 98. Like, yeah,
It's better than the
that's a
48
Florida
it'll be
winter.
here. I got to tell you, so I'm down by Atlantic City now. I'm actually like right in between Atlantic City and Philly. The food down here sucks compared to the food in New York. So I miss the food in New York, especially in like North Jersey. My uncle just moved down here and he hates it. He hates the restaurants. Pizza sucks. Everything sucks.
Yeah.
His words. Everything sucks.
Yeah. The cool thing here, like I was saying earlier, is like, okay, in the summertime, you go down to the beaches in Greece and they have amazing seafood. You run in the water drinking some cool wine. You got great Greek salad, nice and fresh, and you got fresh seafood of your choice. Then you go skiing and Austria's on the other side and you drive 5 hours and you go to Austria and you got nice little German food or Italian food up in the Alps. Yeah, you get a little variety during the course of the year, same way you would, like you were talking about, same way like you would in New York City. You go to Staten Island, you go to great Italian spots. You go to different boroughs and you try different food. That's kind of how I feel here. So for that reason, like, this is sort of like a little larger New York City. I get to go out and enjoy that same way I did in New York City in the five boroughs. So I kind of like that comparison with the food scene here to New York City, sort of expanded New York City and all the, immigrant communities that exist there.
My dad's family had a restaurant on Staten Island for about 35 years called Louis Gino's in Annandale. I don't know if you're familiar. And my uncle Danny, my dad's brother, has now Danny's Bistro in Tottenville.
I know Danny's Bistro.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
small world, huh? Oh, yeah. So food's definitely one of those things that's from an Italian family, very very important to us. So, we always do it big. So I always have too much food. But and I have a big party every year, and every year people are like, there's too much food. Don't go so crazy. And it's like I just can't, like when you blade a chip, like the first thing you say is don't blade it, don't blade it, don't blade it, don't blade it. So you blade it. It's like I don't need all this food. I don't need all this food, but I just cannot stop buying all the food. Because God forbid I don't have something that somebody wants, right?
Yeah, I mean, I married into a Latin family. My wife's family's Puerto Rican, and it's exactly the same thing. Like my father-in-law he is serving the entire time. Like it's food, 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 food. Oh, you need to eat. You need to eat. You need to eat this, this, this. And it's like, whoa, how are you putting more food out? Like this
Yep.
is enough. Like, and then they send you home with a to-go box. Like but we love it. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like the
I like
food's
to feed
It's
great.
people.
similarly dangerous here. It's similarly dangerous here with the food. They do a lot of stuff like lamb and pork, but it's like fresh off the grill and fresh off the spit. It's like hot, melting with like hot potatoes. And it's like, I'm like, if I do this all the time, like the way these people are serving it, all they keep saying is this place is better than that place. So you got to try it. It's like one amazing place after another. I'm like, stop. I'm gonna like gain 20 pounds in like
Yeah.
that.
And I need new
I
clothes
know
after
I
this
know the
meal.
Italian food and I certainly know the Puerto Rican food. You gotta be careful, otherwise you're gonna go. Whew.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're certainly not gonna be in shape for golf.
No.
You got to keep the American size clothes because I know the European
You're
cut's a
going to
little
be in
different on the
shape.
polos.
Round is a shape.
Well, after hearing we're on the beach in Greece having seafood, and then we're in Austria, skiing, I think we got to move from the fringe over there. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm down on location.
Think you guys? I'll give you a place. I'll give you a place to go and play called Lake Bled, Bled in Slovenia. It's a Royal Bled golf course. Man, it's sweet. You know, one of the sweetest ones that I've played here in Europe. Tremendous. It's sort of like in the you got like lakes with like, you know, the Alps in the background, and the course is immaculate. So, you know, put that on your list to visit when you come this way.
Will do.
I'm dreaming
What is
about it
it?
now.
What bled?
It's a Royal Bled,
Royal Bled.
BLED, like, yes, Royal Bled Golf Course.
Got it.
Amazing. They've got a beautiful championship 18-hole course, and then they have like a, you know, a little nine, like a business, corporate 9-hole course. The championship course is just beautiful. All the amenities. I played a bunch of courses in Europe, and it's like, oh yeah, they're nice. You know, they're not U.S., but they're nice. Until I played here, I was like, holy cow! I'm sure there's more like them. I mean, everybody here goes to Turkey to play in the winter because they've got slew of golf courses, and because the weather is nice and warmer, it's sort of like South Carolina-ish for all the Americans. You know, like, oh, it's not hot Florida, but it's really nice weather, and they go play there. And so everybody kind of goes to Turkey in the winter, but and or you know southern Spain and Portugal. Everything else is, you know, waiting for the spring.
Do they
Awesome.
call them snowbirds like we do here?
No, I haven't heard that here. I haven't.
You can start it. You can start it. Make some money off
We
it. Make
can.
shirts.
Yeah, start making some shirts. Snowbirds.
I tell you,
Snowbird.
if they're doing that, they probably go down. You know, snowbirds would probably go to Morocco where it's nice and hot in the winter. So it's like northern Africa. They got some really nice courses there as well.
Yeah, I see those videos where there's like, lions on the green. I'm like, no thanks. I enjoy life.
Well, I'm sure you played courses where they have wild animals of different sorts, like in northern climates of U.S.
Yeah, but those
Yeah.
aren't lions.
I played like Whistler in Canada, where they had bears walking across the
Oh yeah,
course.
that too. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. That just sounds scary. And bears don't walk around with 17 other bears like a pride of lions
Pride of
does.
Lions.
And the females are the ones that do the hunting.
correct, correct. Well, unless you see a cub on the course, then you run because you know the
Yeah,
mother's
yeah.
not
Then you know
far.
you're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
really in trouble. Well, Zach, we appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. Wish you safe travels, as you head over to the States and then up and down the East Coast a couple of times there. Look forward to meeting with you in person at some point. And, maybe, John, maybe we can do the podcast live from his tournament in November. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I'd love to have you guys come down and host you. That would be really cool. So
Yeah.
I'll send you
November
the
2nd.
information, and really, really would be phenomenal to meet you guys and play around with you.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
We'll get you some From the Fringe merch that we have coming. So we'll get you, send us your info. We'll get you some stuff in the mail and love to have you on again. Anytime you want to come on and chat, be great.
I appreciate it, and I hope you could have if I can't play with you guys, at least I could carry your bag. So, you'll forgive me.
I know we got carts for that.
Yeah.
All right, good, good. I don't know, maybe you like to walk. I'm not sure. So,
I got a cart for
you might
that
be at
too.
another level.
If I'm walking, the bag's not going to be attached to me. That's for sure.
I'll
Smart
walk,
man.
but if once it hits 75 degrees, my butt's in the cart.
Yeah.
There you go. Good
Yeah.
attitude. Or there's another reason for you to button the card because there's a cold drink waiting for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's right. That's absolutely
Well,
true.
like I said, safe travels. This has been wonderful. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. All the best with the induction. Love to hear how it goes, and we look forward to catching up soon.
Appreciate you guys greatly. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I want to see you guys in the course.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right.
Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Pleasure's ours.